All right, guys, 2022 Yamaha YZ125. In the last video, I went over with you the broad scope of the changes to this bike as far as bodywork, engine, everything. In this video, I'm going to give you the details of what they changed in this engine. And it's going to be a little bit winded because they changed virtually everything. Let's just start off with the most obvious. It's got a new crankcase, a new cylinder, and a new cylinder head. And they kept pretty much the same styling from the old motor. So, you know, if you're not super familiar with these, you can't just glance at them and tell it's a new engine, but it's a completely new engine. So for all the technical jargon, the combustion chamber's height has been increased by 1.5 millimeters, the volume enlarged by 2.5%, the compression ratio dropped from 8.5 to 8.2. The piston has a new skirt shape to it. It matches the ports better, and the piston pin is supposed to be stronger this year. They added some dowel pins to the cylinder head to align it better with the bore. The base of the cylinder was increased in size, and the front stud positions have been moved 3 millimeters forward to make more room for a larger exhaust port and a bigger, lower, and wider transfer port. The intake port is larger, and the Yamaha power, which Yamaha calls their YPVS, it's their Yamaha power valve system, has an updated shape, lift, and timing. Can't see that much, but it is back there. They also increased the intake angle on the crankcase by 4%, and the crankcase itself is 8 millimeters taller at the cylinder junction, which I thought I noticed that when I first looked at it. The exhaust pipe has a narrower profile, and the silencer is 2 inches shorter. This is not the stock, this is a shorty, but you get the idea. The connecting rod on this engine is 8 millimeters longer. They upped the crank inertia by 2.7%. Now the flywheel actually got a 21% increase in inertia, which Yamaha claims will help with mid to high range power, which I've heard is definitely not an issue on this bike. So you guys probably want to know, how much horsepower does this engine make on the dyno? So the only dyno information I could really find in words was from Motocross Action magazine, and they basically say that the 2022 YZ125 is not very impressive on the dyno. It doesn't make near the power down low that the 2021 did. It's actually about 1.5 horsepower off the old bike until it gets above 7,000 RPM, and then this bike starts to shine. But everybody wants to know peak horsepower. Peak horsepower on this bike is going to come in at 34.5, and the old YZ125 at little 33 and a little less than a half. So a substantial increase, but with a 16-year wait between new models, I think everybody expected a little more. So just for perspective, the KTM 125 is 37.5 horsepower, and keep in mind, guys, there's a brand new KTM 125 coming out this year, so who knows where it's going to be in horsepower. So, you know, we're still what, 2.5 horsepower off the KTM with this new Yamaha. And just for added perspective, the Pro Circuit built Ryan Villapoto replica YZ125 motors that he was racing were 38.3. So they were more than the, you know, they were substantially beefier on the old bikes than this one was, and obviously they had a lot more work as well. So yeah, guys, that's updates on the changes and the power on the 2022 Yamaha YZ125. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.